Hi, welcome to Yoga at the Library. We're going to do a nice class today that's a little bit different than what we usually do. You do need a blanket, some kind of a blanket or towel that you can fold up that won't smush, so that kind of keeps its shape. A firm pillow works well too, or a yoga block if you've got a yoga block. And towards the end of class, we're going to need a wall. That's why I've got my nice table here. So we've got a blanket, we've got a wall or a door, works really well, closed door. And we're gonna get started. We are going to begin on our backs. And today, I know I got a lot for you right away. Today, we're gonna start also with our mats folded in half. So rather than it being your whole long yoga mat, it's folded in half. So it's double cushion underneath the knees, because we're gonna be on our knees for a couple different things early on in class. Not to freak you out or anything. Alrighty, so here we are with our mat folded, and we're going to begin on our backs. So wherever you need to be on your folded mat so that your spine is on the soft parts, on the folded mat. And if it bothers you to have your head on the floor, you can always unfold it a little bit. You can place a blanket underneath your head. Do what you need to do to get comfortable here. Feeling out the heaviness of your spine, the lower back, the upper back, the heaviness of your head. Noticing whether you feel different sensations through the back now that gravity is pressing on you in a different way. Especially if it's late in the day and you've been upright for several hours. Those sensations might be a little bit more pronounced. And taking a few deep breaths. Inhaling, feeling the lungs and the belly expand. And exhaling, pressing all the air out. Emptying the lungs. Belly sinks in. Filling those lungs on your inhale. And emptying completely on your exhale. Noticing the sensations you feel here. When your lungs are all the way full, and when they're all the way empty. Feels really different. Tuning into those feelings is a good way to increase our body awareness, which is really important. Take a big deep breath in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Take both legs long. And take the arms up overhead and stretch from the fingertips all the way down to the toes. Big good morning stretch. And we'll bend the right knee, holding onto the right knee, hugging it in close. And then we'll make circles with the knee, letting the foot and the ankle be soft and relaxed. They might kind of flop around, and that is all right. Feeling out the right hip, making big circles or little circles. Switch directions. We'll bring the knee back into center. Then extend the foot up towards the ceiling, holding on behind the thigh. Keeping a nice bend in the knee. We're not forcing the hamstring to stretch just yet. Roll out the ankle a couple times. Switching directions. Release the leg and lower all the way down to the floor. Noticing the difference between the right leg and the left leg. Temperature, tingling, vibration. And we're going to bring some more balance into the body. So we'll do the same thing on the left side. Hugging the left knee in, holding onto that knee and relaxing the ankle. Making big or small circles with that left knee. Switching directions. Noticing if this hip feels different than the right hip. Just taking note. We'll bring the knee back to center and then extending the foot up towards the ceiling, holding on behind the thigh, gentle bend in that knee, rolling out the ankle. We'll release the leg and lower it all the way down to the floor. Reaching up with the arms and stretching from the fingertips down to the toes. We'll bend both knees and take the bottoms of the feet to the floor. Going to raise the hips a couple times. From the tailbone, rolling the spine up one vertebrae at a time, all the way up towards those shoulder blades. On our exhale, we roll the spine all the way down. And it's hard to figure out the control for this, but once you do figure out the control for this, for tucking that tailbone forward and raising the hips, raising the spine, you'll be strengthening those inner core muscles. The muscles that help us to hold everything together, quite literally. Inhaling to lift the hips up, peeling your spine off the mat, and then exhaling to lower all the way down. We'll hug the knees in, maybe rocking from side to side a couple times. And we're going to make our way up however you want to. If you want to rock and roll, you can rock and roll to come on up. And here is where we're going to use our folded mat. And this is where you're also going to want your blanket or your pillow or your prop. We are going to come into hero pose. And hero pose is on the knees, sitting down. So you might be able to sit all the way to those heels. You might not. And in that case, you can take a blanket. You can place it in between your feet. So you've got a little cushion to sit on. That's a nice thing to do. If that's terrible, you can take the blanket and put it in between. Bring your feet all the way together and put it in between your feet and your booty. So the more cushion you need, the more folds in your blanket. Giving yourself a little bit more. That's my sweet spot right there this morning. So wherever you need to be is where you should take the time. You should take the time to figure out where you need to be. So if you've got a blanket in between the feet, your hips are a little bit lower. You've got a blanket on top of those heels, hips are a little bit higher, taking the angle out of those knees. You should feel a gentle knee stretch here, a gentle ankle stretch, the tops of the feet. And if you want to, you can take the fingertips back behind you and feel a little bit of an opening through the thighs and through the hip flexors. So this is a pose that looks really, really different for everybody. Not everybody's able to get their hips all the way to their heels, and that's what the props are for. That's what being able to lean forward or lean back is for. Make it look however it needs to look for you. This is hero pose. So once we're in our hero pose, we're going to do our arm circles. So we're taking our palms in together at the heart, taking a big deep breath in, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms forward, rounding through the back. Inhaling, palms up. Exhaling, hands reach back and interlace. Inhaling, lifting the hands, lifting the chin, opening the heart. And exhaling, hands come into the center. Deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing palms forward. Inhaling, palms up. Exhaling, hands reach behind, maybe interlacing, maybe just extending. Inhaling to lift the hands, lift the chin. And exhale, hands come to the center. One more, deep breath in. Exhaling, pressing the palms forward. Inhaling up. And exhaling, hands reach back. Inhaling to open up the heart. And exhaling, hands come into the center. Alrighty, let's take the arms out wide and all the way up, coming into a twist. So taking the left hand across to the right thigh. The right hand might be able to reach the floor behind you, maybe just come to the low back or the hip. And we're using the hand to the thigh to twist, looking over the right shoulder. Inhaling, both arms come up. And exhaling, right hand down to left thigh, left hand wherever it falls to the low back, the hip, the floor. Deep breath in to lengthen the spine. And exhaling to twist. Inhaling, coming on up. We'll take the hands down in front. Lift the hips up off the heels. Here's where we're going to do our foot stretch. So go ahead and tuck your toes. And if the feet are all the way together, that's fine. If the feet are separated with a prop in between them, that is also fine. We're going to keep our prop where it is and lower the hips back onto those heels. So now the heaviness of your body is stretching the bottoms of your feet. But with the prop, hopefully it's not super unbearable. Hopefully. We'll see. So here we are in our foot stretch, noticing whether you've got one tight foot or two tight feet or no tight feet, if this feels good. This is a really intense stretch that benefits all of the systems in your body. Give yourself a break by lifting up the hips whenever you need to. And come back down into the stretch. Here we can roll out the wrists, switching directions. Shake out those hands. Pat yourself on the back with the right hand, getting a stretch through that tricep on the right side. We'll switch sides, patting ourselves on the back with the left hand. Just stretch through the tricep. Taking a break from the position anytime you need to, lifting up those hips. We'll release the left arm. Go ahead and take the hands forward. Now we can take the props off to the side. Go ahead and untuck your toes and tap, 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 tap the tops of your feet. Nice. Alrighty. Coming to our tabletop position. And right here, it's not really very important that your hands are on your mat. It's more important that your knees are on your mat. Unless you want your hands on your mat, then you can figure out how to make it happen. So we want to have a neutral spine. We want it to be long from the base of the skull all the way to the tailbone. Palms right underneath the shoulders. Knees right underneath the hips. Coming into cat and cow here. Inhaling, lifting the tailbone, dropping the belly, lifting the chin. And exhaling, rounding up through the back, tucking the tailbone and tucking the chin in. Moving with your breath. And if you're noticing that your knees feel just lovely on this double layered mat, remember that next time. You can always fold your mat over and use the double layer to cushion those knees. If you need more cushion, you can always add a blanket or a towel. Making yoga work for you is, I hate to say a secret to success, but I can't think of anything else. Making yoga work for your body is the secret to success. Coming back to that neutral spine. Nice and flat and strong through the core. Let's go ahead and extend the right arm out long and the left leg comes out long, flexing through the foot so the toes are pointing straight down towards the floor. Big deep breath in to lengthen and exhale, bringing the hand and the knee on down. We'll switch sides. Left arm comes up and the right leg comes up. Inhaling to get long from the fingers to the heel and exhaling to lower on down. We'll do each side one more time, right arm and left leg. Long and strong through the core. Lowering on your exhale. Right leg, left arm. And exhaling to lower. Okay, now we're going to unroll our mat, unfold our mats. So we're going to use the whole thing. Unfolding the mat, using the whole thing, coming back into our tabletop. We're going to take our hands a couple inches forward, tuck the toes, lift the knees, lift the hips, and come on up into downward facing dog. We're alternating, pressing one heel and then the other down towards the floor. Opening up those hamstrings gradually and naturally. The palms are rooting down into the floor. The fingers are spread out nice and wide. Pressing one heel and then the other down, bending one knee and then the other. And then finding stillness in this pose. Taking a big deep breath in your downward facing dog. And on your exhale, we're lowering the knees almost all the way down to the floor. Almost all the way down. Then we'll inhale, lifting the knees and the hips back up. Exhaling to lower almost all the way down. Inhaling, lifting up. And exhale one more time, lowering the knees almost all the way down. And lifting on up. Now we're going to take a big bend in the knees and walk those feet up towards the hands. Hanging out in a forward fold. Gentle bend in the knees still. We're not forcing anything through those hamstrings. Letting your head hang. Give your head a shake. No. A nod. Yes. The arms can swing from side to side. The hands do not need to be touching the floor at all. We'll take a big bend in both knees and roll the spine on up. Standing up nice and tall. Checking in with your feet. We want to have our feet hip width apart or maybe a little bit wider. We want them to be parallel. Kneecaps are pointing straight forward. Hips are stacked right over the knees. Shoulders are stacked right over the hips and the torso straight up and down, so we're not sticking our chests out. We're not sticking our booties out. We're stacking ourselves powerfully straight up and down. Fingertips can shine down towards the floor. Shoulders are dropped away from the ears. The chin is level with the floor. Taking a couple breaths here in our Tadasana. Go ahead and interlace your hands behind your back. We'll take the right ear to the right shoulder, nodding the chin up and down, feeling out the left side of the neck. On an exhale, taking the chin down to the chest. And inhaling, taking the left ear to the left shoulder, feeling out the right side of your neck. Noticing if you're slouching over to the left like I am, try to stand up nice and tall. And on an exhale, we'll take the chin back down to the chest. And coming into, we can just do a half circle, swinging from ear to ear, or you can come into a full neck circle, whatever feels best to you. Try to stay rooted through both feet evenly, standing up nice and tall. If you're taking full neck circles, switching directions, noticing the sensations you feel. Making note if you need to get a neck rub in later. Bringing that chin back down to the chest, releasing the hands, and coming on up. Alrighty, we'll take both arms out and all the way up. Right hand comes down to the outside of the right leg and we'll reach up and over with the left. And we're not folding forward to reach farther. We're stretching up and over. So all the way from those fingertips on the left hand to the foot. Check in with your feet. Your feet should feel even. You might have to adjust your weight around to bring those feet even. Inhaling, coming all the way up with both arms. And exhaling down to the other side. Reaching up and over with the right hand, stretching through the right side. Inhaling all the way up. And we'll release the arms down. Shake them out. So we've still got our feet just like we set them up in Tadasana, hip width apart, parallel, strong through the legs. We're going to do 6 sun breaths. 3 regular ones and 3 with fierce pose, but you don't need to worry about that just yet. We're going to begin with the hands at the heart, just giving you a heads up. Inhaling, arms come out wide and all the way up. Exhaling to fold forward and bow. Inhaling, lengthening and flattening that spine just like we're in tabletop position. Exhaling, folding all the way down. Inhaling, arms come out and all the way up. And exhaling, hands come into the center. Inhaling, arms come out and up. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling all the way down. Inhaling, coming out and up. And exhaling, hands come into the heart. One more just like that. Arms come out and up. Exhaling, fold. Inhaling, lengthening. Exhaling on down. Coming all the way up on your inhale. Hands coming into the heart. Alrighty, we're gonna come into fierce pose. So we're keeping the feet right where they are. Hip width apart and parallel. Bending into the knees and sitting the hips back. We want to make sure that we can see our big toes, and we want to make sure we're not sticking our booties out. We kind of want to tuck the tailbone so the spine feels nice and long. This is going to be our starting position for our next 3 sun breaths. So we'll inhale, arms come out and all the way up. Exhale, fold and bow. Inhaling to lengthen and flatten the spine. Exhaling, folding down. Inhaling, coming all the way up. Palms come together, and on our exhale, we sit into our fierce pose. Knees are the same distance apart that the feet are, so they're tracking over those ankles. Inhaling, arms come up. Exhaling, folding all the way down. Inhaling to lengthen and flatten the spine. And exhaling to fold. Inhaling, coming out and up. Sitting down into our fierce pose. Full round of breath here. On your exhale, maybe lower the hips an inch lower. And inhale all the way up. Exhaling, hands come all the way down. Hi. My boys are seeing me and they're not sure what I'm doing in here. Inhaling to lengthen the spine. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, coming all the way out and up. Exhaling, hands come into the heart and come into your fierce pose. Inhaling, coming out and up, and then we'll relax the arms down. Alrighty, now we're gonna use this wall that we've got close to us. You do not need your feet on your mat or anything. We're gonna take the back to the wall. So the back is to the wall, and we're taking the feet about 2 inches away from the wall. So we're pretty much straight up and down against the wall, but not quite all the way. The heels are not touching the wall. We're gonna come to stand on the left foot first and hold on to that right knee. So we're leaning back against the wall so it helps us with our balance. We're not cheating, we're just using the wall. Go ahead and flex that right ankle so the toes are pointing straight forward. We'll take the left arm all the way out against the wall and take the right knee over to the right as close to the wall as we can get it. So we're stretching the inner thigh here. Bringing the knee back to center. Switching hands, so we'll hold on with the left hand, reach out with the right, stretching that knee across the body. Little outer thigh, IT band stretch, keeping the right foot flexed. We'll bring the knee back to center, hold on with both hands. Maybe you can release the hands and take them out, and then lower all the way down. That'll make your hip flexors tight. We will stretch them, I promise. Coming 2 inches from the wall with the heels, we're gonna do that same thing on the left side. So we're hugging that left knee up close, flexing through the left foot. Standing tall, using that wall. Right arm comes out wide. We stretch the knee out to the left, keeping the foot flexed. Bringing the knee back to center, switching hands, and we'll take the knee across the body. Breathing throughout. Coming back to center, maybe taking both arms up, extending the foot, lowering on down. Shaking out the legs, we're about to use them again for another wall thing. This time we're gonna take our feet about almost 2 feet, not quite 2 feet away from the wall, so it's a little bit farther, and we're bringing our back to the wall. I don't know how much this table is gonna stand. Okay, so we're bringing our back to the wall, and we've got our knees bent just a little bit. Not quite as much as they're bent in our fierce pose, but similar. So we're strengthening the quads a lot today. Here we're gonna come into eagle pose with the arms. So we've got as much of our spine, as much of our back against that wall as we can. We're opening the arms out to the sides, taking the right arm underneath the left. We can hold opposite shoulders, or we can take the backs of the hands together, or maybe the palms together. Whatever variation you like. Inhaling to lift the elbows, and exhaling to lower the shoulders. Inhaling to lift the elbows, and exhaling to lower the shoulders. Releasing those arms on out, giving your legs a little break. And we'll come back to the wall. So we're about 1.5 feet or so from the wall, bringing as much of the spine as we can against the wall, tucking that tailbone. We'll take the arms on out. And this time bringing the left arm underneath the right, bending the elbows, maybe taking opposite shoulders, backs of the hands together or the palms together. Inhaling to lift the elbows. Exhaling to drop the shoulders. And we'll release the arms, giving your legs a break. Now we're moving our mats around all over the place today. Now we're going to make our way in the direction of our mats, but we want to set them up so that we can go into legs up the wall at the very end of class. So go ahead and take, if you haven't yet, go ahead and take the short edge of your mat all the way up against your wall surface. We're not going to use it just yet, but now we don't have to move our mats later. Alrighty, and we're coming to the bottom of our mats, not all the way to the wall, just towards the bottom of our mats. Taking the arms out wide and all the way up. And exhaling, folding forward. Big bend in both knees. We'll walk the hands forward, coming all the way down to hands and knees. Taking the knees wide, big toes together and coming down into child's pose. Forehead comes down, tailbone is down low towards the floor. Gravity is helping us open those hips, open the knees and the tops of the feet. Walking the hands over towards the right. Stretching through the left underarm, the left rib cage. Walking the hands back through center and over to the left. Coming back to center. Making our way on up. Okay, you might want to have a prop close by, a blanket or your pillow close by. You're going to open up those hips and hip flexors. So standing up onto the knees, and this is where we might want to take the blanket underneath those knees. Taking a big step forward with the right foot. Let's go ahead and tuck the toes on the left foot. We'll take both hands down to the floor inside of that right foot and turn the toes out to the right. You might feel good right here. You might want to scoot that left knee farther back to open up the front of that left thigh, the top of the left thigh where the hip flexors are. We're lowering the hips down towards the floor. That knee is out to the side, giving us plenty of room. You might be able to bend the elbows. You might just think about bending your elbows. You might be able to take your elbows all the way to the floor. Everybody's very different in this pose. Shifting from side to side with those hips feels good sometimes. Big stretch through the inner thigh, the groin, and that left hip flexor. Making our way back, bringing that foot back in line, bringing our knees back together, standing up tall, noticing a difference from the right leg to the left. This time we'll tuck the toes on the right foot, taking the left foot forward to the top of the mat, turning the left toes out to the left, bringing the hands down. And that right knee can scoot farther back if you want your hips to be lower. Finding your pose and taking your time to find it. The hands are down. Maybe the elbows bend. Maybe the elbows lower. Maybe your arms are straight. Maybe shifting from side to side. Feeling a big stretch through the left inner thigh and groin. The hip flexor on the right side. Alrighty, we'll bring that left foot back in line. Come back up. Bring the knees back together. We'll find child's pose again, taking the knees wide, the big toes together, and folding forward. That dragon pose, the lunge that we were just in, is kind of a way to open up the same places that need to be open for child's pose. So hopefully your child's pose feels even better now after we opened up those legs. Taking the arms relaxed, the elbows out to the sides, giving those arms a break. Making our way on up. If you've got a blanket on your mat, go ahead and take it off to the side. And we'll come down onto our bellies. Make sure you're not going to kick your wall like I just did. Elbows right underneath the shoulders, palms to the floor. Lifting up with the chin, up with the crown of the head. Getting a back bend here. Dragging those elbows towards the body to drag the belly button forward towards the top of your mat. We can stay right here, or we can press the palms into the ground, lifting the elbows, getting a deeper back bend. The elbows down is just fine. The elbows up is just fine. Exhaling, releasing those elbows off to the side. We'll take the hands right underneath the shoulders, making our way slowly on up. And making our way onto our backs. We want our feet towards the wall here. We're not coming into legs up the wall just yet, but we will in a minute. So we've got our long spine on the floor, knees are bent. Arms can come out wide to the sides. Taking a big deep breath in. On your exhale, letting the knees drop over to the right. Inhaling, knees up to center. And exhaling, knees come down to the left. Moving with your breath. Circulating that energy up and down the spine, loosening up the spine, giving a gentle massage to the organs. We'll bring the knees back up to center. When you feel even, go ahead and hug those knees in. And however you can, there's no good way to do this. We're gonna bring our booties to the wall. So we're taking one hip all the way to the wall, and then we're swinging the legs on up. And then if you need to do the scoot, do the scoot to scoot your booty all the way to the wall, sending your legs straight up. Finding legs up the wall. The spine has a lot of gravity pressing it down towards the floor. The legs help out with that. The arms can be wherever it's comfortable, up overhead, hands to the belly, out to the sides, whatever feels best to you. Right away, we start to feel the sensations in the feet and the lower legs change. Feel the temperature change, maybe some tingling. Feeling the circulation reversing, flowing back up the legs with gravity. The feet are relaxed. The legs are relaxed. The wall and the floor are holding us in place so that we can let our bodies be nice and soft. Breathing regularly here. Not letting your mind wander too much, bringing your attention back to the sensations in your legs if you do start to wander. Go ahead and take the legs wider on the wall into a V. As much space as you have. If you're just on a door, it's going to be a little bit of a narrower V, and that's just fine. We're going to make our way with our heels down towards our body. So we're bending the knees, bottoms of the feet come to the wall if they can, coming into this nice laying down squat position. Stretching the of the legs, the glutes. Bringing the knees together, and we'll come to roll and lay on one side. Giving yourself some space from the wall if you need to. Making a little pillow with your arm for your head. Pressing into the floor and coming on up to a seated position. We haven't been in a seated position yet in this class. Maybe sitting up onto your blanket or your pillow. Sitting up nice and tall. Hopefully feeling some space through the spine, the shoulders, the hips. And we'll bring the hands together at the heart. And we'll close with our 3 deep breaths. Taking a big deep breath in, arms come out and up. Deep breath in for the world. Exhaling, hands come into the heart. Deep breath in for our community. Exhaling, hands come into the center. A deep breath in for ourselves. Hands come down into the heart. Thank you all so much. Really this time, I hope to see you in person soon. Namaste.